I received Huda Beauty's new Icy Nude collection in PR. So today I just kind of wanted to sit down with this collection and play with some new makeup. I did start by swatching out this palette, and then of course I showed you how to do this stunning eye look, and I love how this turned out. And then I did get to play with the new bronzers, the face gloss, and the new lip glosses. So if you want to see how I did this eyeshadow look and my thoughts on this collection and specifically the palette, go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so we have the new Icy Nude palette. I'm noticing right away this packaging is very different than what she's done before, especially with the new style of logo down here. And they're also claiming that this is going to be the very last big palette that they're doing, which I was a little shocked by because they do this every holiday season. I'm interested to see what they'll do next year. Like, are they just going to stick to the 9pan palettes? I don't know, but here she is. First impressions of this palette after seeing it online, seeing swatches. It's been a couple weeks since it's launched now, and I've just been like eagerly waiting for this. I think I'm gonna like this palette without even touching anything at this moment. I watched Huda's whole Instagram video about the palette, and I gotta say, I like the vibes Icy Nude, and I think this color story does look Icy Nude to me. There are quite a few silvery looking shades in here, so I'm excited to swatch those out, and then there are some just perfect matte shades in here that I'm so excited to play with. But I want to swatch this out before I put it on my eyes just to see what shades are calling to me and what shades I'm excited about. Starting in the upper left hand corner, we have Iced Out. Ooh, and this looks like a pinky white duochrome shade. Oh, you're seeing blue on camera. I'm seeing pink, so definitely a blue and pink shift there. This is High Life, and this looks like it's going to be a really good crease shade. And then this is Platinum. Oh yeah, and this just looks like a true silver. This is Unapologetic and Faux Fur. Ooh, that's a really nice, rich, deep brown. And then this is Gold Standard. Next is Avalanche, and this just looks like a pure matte white. This is Aurora. Oh my gosh, that is stunning. That's like a beautiful rosy shade. I want to put that with these shades right now. That might be the look today. Wow, love that shade. Okay. This is why we swatched the shadows first. And then this is VVS. I don't know what that stands for, so if you know, please let me know. This looks like a multi-chrome. I'm seeing pink, gold, and silver on that shade. Gorgeous. Next is Poised. And this looks like a gray, but I'm seeing a little bit of taupe in there too, so not like a true gray. This one is She's Rich, which I love. And then last down here, I'm gonna put Cold Plunge. That actually looks a lot like Bare from my palette with Sigma. It's kind of like a shade that I use a lot for just blending out the edges, so I love when a palette has this kind of color. Well, those are the first two rows. Last row, this is IDGAF. I don't give a fuck. It's a very cute, like cool tone pink that leans very white. I already don't like this shade. This is Bling. Ugh, I hate these formulas. It's one of those chunky glitters where you can just feel the grittiness of it. That is definitely a shade where you're gonna need a base underneath it. Kind of takes a bit more effort. It's just like the formula that she had in the new nude palette. I think there was 2 glitters in that one. This is just like that, and I'm not a fan of this type of formula. This is Oneself. All right, kind of a light grayish taupey shade. This next one's pretty chunky. This is Diamond Dew. Whoa. Okay, see, that's like a that's so metallic. Oh my gosh, I just looked at that on the viewfinder. That is totally reflecting my ring light right now. That's wild. Like, just look at these 2 silvers next to each other. Which one do you want to put on your eyeballs? This one. I'm just gonna go back in the palette really quick to Platinum, which was one of those first silvers, just to see these next to each other. This one has a bit more blue in it. This one sucks. I do feel like I'm seeing a bit of a shift in this shade right here, like almost a little bit of pink in there, kind of like a pinky silver. I think out of those 3 silverish shimmers, I'm definitely most drawn to this one. I'm not really like a blue silver type of gal. And then this is Lavish and First Class. All right, a little bit more peach, a little bit more pink in those 2. All right, let's do an eye look with this palette. I'm gonna start with the shade High Life on a crease brush, and I'm gonna run this shade throughout my entire crease. Picked up a bit more of that shadow, and I'm just gonna build this up. I think this is such a pretty crease color. And then on the same brush, I'm gonna pick up Cold Plunge, and I'm gonna use this shade to soften out the edges of High Life. So I'm kind of going right below my brow with this shade and just blending and smoothing this out. Now I'm going to switch to a small firm blending brush and more High Life, and I'm going to run that across my entire lower lash line. And then once I get to this outer part of my eye, I am kind of dragging out this shadow. Now on my crease brush, I'm going to dip into Unapologetic. I'm going to start by tapping that on the outer part of my lid. Bringing it up towards my outer crease. I actually thought that this shade might show up a bit more warm toned on the eyes, but it's really not that warm, and I like that a lot. So then once I have less of this shadow on my brush, I'm kind of blending my brush around a bit more and just really smoothing out this shade. And then I picked up more, and I'm going to do another layer of that. Next, I picked up more Unapologetic on my small firm blending brush, and I'm going to run that across the outer part of my lower lash line. One thing I always love about Huda's formula is that I find that the matte shades look so smooth on the eyelid. They really do blend out so nicely. I think I want to work on a little half shadow wing right now before I do my shimmer shade. So I'm going to take Faux Fur on a tiny angled brush. I'm going to start by stamping that shadow along the outer part of my top lash line. And then I'm going to do a little flick once I get to the outer corner. And then I'm connecting that line back in to make a wing shape. And then I'm just kind of maneuvering around the shadow with my brush until I'm happy with how that shape looks. Okay, this wing is definitely turning into more of a full wing, not really a half wing, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna dip into that deepest shade, and I'm just gonna use that to deepen up the base of my wing. And by base of my wing, I mean the part of the wing that is closest to my eyeball. Okay, I'm actually pretty happy with how that looks. Now, if you followed this eye look up to this point, I think you could use any shimmer in the palette for this look. But I just have to try this Aurora shade, so I'm gonna take that on my finger. That's what that looks like, and I'm gonna place this on the center of my eyelid. And I didn't apply any extra base for this shadow. I really just wanted to see how it looks as is. And that's a beautiful shade, wow. So like I said, I put that shadow on the center of my lid. I did not bring it all the way out towards my wing, and it's also not in my inner corner because I think I want to try a little bit of VVS. What does that stand for? Oh, it's an acronym for very, very slightly included for diamonds. I still don't understand the context of that. Well, anyways, I'm taking a little bit of that on the tip of my finger, and I'm gonna put that on the very inner corner of my lid, just to give me a little bit of a gradient from this light shimmer to this more medium toned one. That is so pretty. And I'm gonna take whatever's left on my finger on my actual inner corner of my eye. Then I'm gonna take my crease brush and just do a very soft blend in my crease around these shimmers. Then I'm gonna take a little bit of the white on a pencil brush, and I'm just adding that right on top on the inner corner, just to brighten this up. And then I'm adding a bit of a warm brown eyeliner in my waterline. This is Makeup Forever Limitless Brown. I went ahead and popped on my mascara and lashes, and for my lashes, I'm wearing the Bright Lashes Daydream. These are a full lash, and I did just cut them into a little half lash, so it's sitting right out there on my outer corner. And then I noticed my eyeballs were looking just a bit red overall, so I did add in my Lumify eye drops. I don't really talk about this a lot, but I do use this product pretty much every time before I film, just because it does make the whites of your eyes super bright and white. white, and just for the purpose of filming, it looks good on camera. So here's the final close-up of the eye look. Okay, I went ahead and did the other eye, and now my face is feeling so blank, and I did receive the entire collection in PR, which I'm so thankful for because I really was excited about this collection. And they came out with 2 shades of this bronzer that's in the same blush filter formula, which I really did enjoy this year when it came out. I actually have 2 in my drawer in front of me. These are my most used shades, Cotton Candy and Strawberry Cream. So out of these 2, I know the deepest one is just not gonna work for me, so I'm gonna open up Latte. Now I already have my foundation, my concealer on, and my face is set, but I remember Huda saying that you should be able to apply these on top of a set base, and I did also use her powder today, so I want to see how this works on top of my set foundation and everything. Oh, it smells just like the blushes. It smells so freaking good. And since this is a bronzer, I'm gonna keep this on the outer part of my face because I'm a little worried about this shade, honestly. We'll see. Taking my BK Beauty 109. I remember seeing some people swatch this online, and it looked a little muddy on some people, and I feel like it might look that way on me too. Oh god. Oh no. I'm actually gonna grab my foundation brush that I use, the BK Beauty 101. I don't think that shade looks good on me, but I'm gonna even it out because if one side looks crazy, at least make them both look crazy. It's at least what I think. It's just such a warm, brownish shade. It's definitely more on the bronzer side than it is a blush, especially for my really fair skin tone. Okay, don't love the color, but I will say it's not separating my foundation or powder underneath at all, so that's really nice. Okay, I just added a bit of bronzer to my forehead, and then for blush, I popped on this Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Blush. The shade is 62, yeah. Kind of more of a neutral pink shade. I've been wearing this blush a lot recently, and this did apply nicely on top of my set base as well. Now I have to open up this face gloss. When I saw this online, I was like, are you serious? She released something like this? Because Huda knows that shade in the Rose Quartz palette that looks like a freaking petri dish. She came out with like the same looking type of product, but it's called a face gloss. And this is supposed to be pH adjusting as well, which isn't my favorite, but I gotta say I haven't tried a product like this before for the cheeks. Let me look at my notes here. Okay, it's a highlighting face gloss in Frostbite. Non-sticky, lightweight gloss, has a pH pigment that adjusts to all skin tones for diamond-like dewy finish. But I gotta say, when I saw Huda apply this, it looked beautiful on her skin, so I'm excited to see how it looks. I don't know the best way to apply this, and I don't... God, I hate the feeling of this. I'm gonna take my 109 and just go for this. That was too much. Okay. Very, very, very pink. My cheeks look so bad today. And then the last product from this collection is the Faux Filter Gloss. There are 3 shades of this. I do already own one Faux Filter Gloss, and it is a really nice formula. I have the shade Bombshell. Out of these 3 shades, I know this one I'm probably gonna love. It is the most nude looking shade. Oh yeah, that looks like a perfect nude gloss. I'm gonna pat over my lips with my foundation brush. It's because I have so much natural pigment to my lips, I like to blank them out a little bit before I go in with my lip color. I'm actually just gonna go straight in with this and kind of see how it looks on its own. The applicator on this is really nice too. It's kind of like the applicator was like squished at the tip here, so it just really hugs your lips. I'm just gonna take my Makeup Forever lip liner in Endless Cacao and kind of add that where I want on my lips for some more definition. Okay, just a little bit, nothing too crazy. Okay, out of this entire collection, my favorite product has to be the eyeshadow palette. Everything else is kind of The lip gloss is nice, but it's just a nude lip gloss, you know? Nothing like, oh my gosh, amazing. But I do think this palette is very beautiful, and I love the look that I came up with today. Kind of this like soft, rosy, cool toned pink taupe. Like, I don't even know how to explain these eye colors right now. And this does seem like a palette that you can get a variety of looks with, and don't worry, I will do at least 2 more looks with this palette because in my brain I'm like, I want to use something with this gold, I want to use this shade for sure, could do something like a bit softer, like I have ideas in my head. If you do want to see me do some in-depth swatches and comparisons with the Icy Nude palette, let me know what palettes you want to see it compared to, because just looking at that palette, nothing really comes to mind. I've heard some people say I need a nude, but let me know if there's any others you want to see, or just other Huda palettes, and just kind of compare, you know, shades in there. But that is going to wrap up this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.